It's funny how time slows down at moments like this. They say your life flashes before your eyes. But Tom here isn't thinking about his wife and kids back home. Nah, he's too busy trying to work out why his rifle doesn't work. Was it the rough handling? Or was it because he got distracted last time he cleaned it? I guess it didn't seem so important back then. I bet having a laugh with his mates last night instead of checking his weapon properly won't seem so funny when his mate doesn't get to go home. Routine maintenance didn't seem to be the highest priority on Sam's job list yesterday. He'd give anything to go back and do it again. Imagine how it'd feel if his mates got injured or killed because he was too busy yesterday to do it properly.
Hello, Zero. This is 1-0. In position, over. 0, acknowledge, over. Mate, I've got nothing. Barry's dead.
Yes, sir, it's clear. Let's just go now.
If his radio was working properly, he'd have received the order to remain in place and would know his unit's heading to danger. He didn't think to check his radio. I mean, why bother? It's only issued this morning. Surely no soldier would put faulty kit back in the store without reporting it. We're all on the same side after all.
Equipment care is an intrinsic part of achieving and maintaining operational readiness and capability. It contributes to saving lives and achieving mission success. It must be ingrained into the ethos of every unit at every level of command, and it is a fundamental part of being a professional soldier.
Across the Army, there are different types of unit with different equipment, different capabilities and different roles. I consider equipment availability to be one of the 4 cornerstones of our readiness. And good equipment care is on the critical path to achieving that equipment availability. It's our manpower, it's our equipment, it's our training, and it's the ability to sustain all of that.
The importance of equipment care, well, it's life and death, quite literally, and I don't say that lightly. Everything we have are designed to kill and injure people, and if they aren't looked after properly, then they kill and injure us.
Everyone has a responsibility for equipment care in a regiment in the British Army. From the junior trooper that's just arrived from phase 2 training to the most senior member of the regiment, the commanding officer, across the tankies, across the chefs, across the clerks that work in the admin office. It's everyone's responsibility, because maintaining our equipment is pivotal to how we operate in camp, in the field and on operations.
The chain of command is responsible for ensuring every soldier's mindset develops an equipment care culture, and that they personally understand and feel responsible for the care, maintenance and the reporting of equipment faults and failures.
I think it's vitally important that soldiers feel that they discharge their duties in an environment where they can explain that there's been a fault with a piece of equipment under their care, and that they do so in the safe knowledge that as long as they haven't been negligent, that there will be no consequences for them.
It's a continuous thing. You're always checking it. Whenever you sign up the vehicle, you do it. Before you turn it on, you do it. And then when you turn the vehicle off, you let it cool down, and then you'll check it. My responsibility. Yeah, just my responsibility. The kit and equipment I sign out and I use I should look after it. Once it's been given to me, it's my responsibility.
I believe every soldier should take personal responsibility for every kit that they sign for and are in charge of, because kit saves lives.
James MIS and relevant publications are carefully designed and implemented to ensure good equipment care. Their use, upkeep and compliance with policy ensures everyone's safety and our effectiveness as a fighting force.
The procedures are fundamentally important to maintaining equipment care and equipment availability. They're there because they're a handrail for our soldiers when they're tired and they're exhausted. So when we're warm and comfortable in barracks, we then do it when we're slightly more uncomfortable on exercise, and then we're under even more pressure in an operational sphere, that we still manage to maintain those checks, follow that procedure, and that means that we keep our vehicles, our equipment, our weapons in the fight for longer.
I look to the commanders at every level, whether that's a crew commander, a section commander, a squadron leader or a troop or platoon commander, to follow those policies and procedures to ensure that equipment care is given the right priority in regimental business.
It is important that you are trained, experienced and current on the equipment held within your unit. Then you'll be deemed competent to undertake your equipment care responsibilities.
It's absolutely imperative that a soldier knows what he is and isn't able to do. That way he can operate effectively without going beyond the realms of his personal competencies.
They may sometimes feel under pressure to perform a task that has been set for them by the chain of command that they're not competent to do, and therefore it's vitally important that I understand their competence and currency levels so I can only direct them to do tasks of which they're capable.
Training and equipment care goes hand in hand. Without taking care of the equipment, that will mean that we cannot and we will not be able to do our job effectively.
All equipments, from simple tools to complex platforms, are designed to do a specific job. Operating equipment outside its capabilities will lead to premature equipment failure and could endanger the user.
I think it's fundamental that soldiers understand exactly what their equipment is designed for and what it is and isn't capable of doing. On operations, when fighting, if our people don't clearly understand what they can use that equipment for, what it will do for them, and where the limits of that usefulness are, when it starts to become dangerous, then under pressure they will have a problem.
I'm the driver of this vehicle and I'll maintain this vehicle on the ground, so I'll do all the checks all over the engine, and I'll check the outsides, make sure there's no problems with the tracks, I'll make sure it's clean, and I'll make sure that everything's topped up within the vehicle when we're out on the ground, and then I'll maintain it within camp.
Consequences of not complying with equipment care procedures is the financial impact to the MOD, the effect on equipment capability and availability, but ultimately the difference between a life-changing injury or even death. Equipment care is critical to support all of us in all that we do.
In the business of delivering lethality, what you don't want to do as a soldier is to pull your trigger and your weapon not to fire. When you need to call for indirect fire or fire support and you press on your radio and you can't get comms, or if you need to break contact in an armoured fighting vehicle, these failings limit our ability to apply lethality towards the enemy, and they also undermine the own force protection measures that we have within the battalion as well. So EC is absolutely vital in our daily business.
If you don't look after the equipment, then it's going to be useless when you're out in the field, and if it's not serviceable, then it's no good to anyone.
Because without the correct equipment, from your boots to the Challenger 2, then lives can be lost.
If I look after that, make sure that the equipment isn't damaged, then it's going to look after me when I'm on the ground. I'm not going to have any dramas.
Making sure that tanks are available, ready for use at the highest standard, will hit the target when you fire them, will get to where they're supposed to go, can talk to the people they're supposed to talk to, is really of huge importance to us.
Everyone likes to be the best. That's the way the Army trains you, always be the best. So if your equipment care is up to scratch and you roll out a full complement of tanks, then it makes your squadron look good. Everyone wants their vehicle to make it out, and everyone wants their vehicle to be the best.
So we're not just representing ourselves in the regiment in the British Army, we're representing the country in a wider multinational community. So it's absolutely vital that we can go out there with pride and show the rest of the world that we do it right and we do it well, and our kit is up to standard because we do our jobs.